Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video here on Stellar or XLM. Wanted to do a full update. Quite a few of you requested this, and just in general, I try to make some updates on XLM every once in a while about what's going on. If you watched my last video, you would have been prepared for the price action. The last video I made is already over 2 weeks ago, so my apologies for that. I should make them a little bit more frequent, but overall I still cover every major move. And last time, I think what we said is that it was unlikely that we would be able to reclaim this main key level right here at 30 cents, and that it was most likely we were going to drop down into that next major support level right here between 17.5 and 20 cents. It's a little bit broader than that. It's a very big support level, as you can see. Also historically, if you go to the weekly time frame. Very big level, as you can see. I guess the main support levels are either 17.5 or this liquidity zone around 20 cents. Those are the most important support levels. But that's what we did, right? And now we have actually found support there. And initially we actually had some decent, well, I mean, it looked like we had a decent bottom. Volume was quite high. Volume was the highest since I think the 2nd of March right here, when we had obviously that crypto reserve news. So that's pretty good. You want volume to come in during a bottom like that. But ultimately, like on the higher time frames for XLM right here, we are still bearish, all right? And I'd have to say, the follow-up in volume, which is very small right here, but you can see it, the follow-up in volume after the last bullish move we had last week Wednesday, because obviously the second half of last week we saw some recovery. The volume dropped down quite a bit, and that is not what you want to see, because there have also been altcoins where we initially had a lot of volume here in the bottom, which also happened for XLM. But then what happened is that the volume basically until yesterday, or at least in the weekend, also remained relatively high. Excuse my nose, by the way, it's a bit of morning allergies. But it stayed very high. And for XLM, that's not the case. And that's in combination with the fact that on the higher time frames, we are still trading below the 30-day VWAP. But in general, you can also see this is still a downtrend. Makes me think that this is not the bottom yet. All right, so far we just filled this imbalance right here just below 25 cents, where we had a fair value gap. We respected the 28 EMA, but we respected the trend band. And then now in light that Bitcoin is also, pulling back a bit here with a realistic possibility to pull back lower, and the Bitcoin dominance being relatively strong, I'd have to say it's most likely that XLM is going to retest support. And then the big question becomes, well, all right, are we going to retest 20 cents, make some sort of a bullish divergence, or some sort of a double bottom there? Or are we going to drop down into 17.5? And that remains to be seen, all right? That's impossible right now for me to predict. If I'd have to give you my thoughts, gun to my head, I'd say we're going down to 17.5 to get some more volume, a stronger bottom, and then from there consolidate and get some sort of an uptrend eventually again, because I do think eventually we will get an uptrend again for XLM. But short term, what I'd expect is a lot of volatility. I mean, we can also still move into this level right here at 25 cents if we get some more strength in the markets. But ultimately, I think dropping down into that level at 20 cents is very likely. And then if we get a lot of support from there, that could also be the bottom. But like I said, that is something we do not know. That is something we'll have to see once we actually reach that support level. And until then, I'd say short term is most likely we're going to drop down into 20 cents, and I would personally not set any limits. But those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know. I will keep you updated on this in the future as well, so keep an eye on the channel if you're interested in that. For now, take care, have a great rest of your week, and bye.